Hey there, paper geeks and glitter nerds. It's another crazy geek crafter, and let's craft on this haunted house and get it done. And if you think I forgot a video, I didn't. Video live number 16 was a different topic, not the haunted house. So that's why. Just, because there's some people out there who actually notice these things. Me, for example. But that's the reason why 16 is missing, because it is not part of this series particularly. So I got some air clay because I wasn't very happy with the paper mache. I had forgotten how hard it got when it's actually done, and the process of paper macheing every single branch on this tree was gonna take a long time. So I figured try out a new material, see if that was gonna work. And it did work, and it didn't. I had positive and negative things to say about it. I'm gonna need it anyway because I have to fix a few Christmas ornaments that is broken. So it's fine that I have it on hand for things, and I could use it for making pumpkins for the front steps of the house, since this will only be out for Halloween. I'm trying to texture the clay at this point here, but it's gonna be redundant because I'm gonna have some structural troubles with the clay, unfortunately. Normally you would make a wire armature to cover with the clay, but I made mine in paper, and I do think that was part of why I had so much trouble, because the bones of my craft was too rigid. Yeah. So I'm gonna craft on. This is going to be in the modeling of the tree is going to take a few lives, since I have to leave some to dry to see if what I did worked. And yeah, I think I start only with the base, but I am uncertain. But let's see. After making the first branch, I knew that the paper was going to be a problem. That's why I pulled out my painter's tape, and then I tried to use that to stabilize the branches, which did help a lot, but it still has some weak points, and yeah, you'll see. I've let it dry, and now here's the trouble. You see all these cracks? Everything is cracked and all the branches are still hanging loose. This is another experiment. I was just showing my live viewers and talking about how I was testing out a way to make gravel and grass from coffee grind. And I'm going to make some on screen later on. But I wanted to test it out before I did it in the live. But you're going to see me make all the colors of grass that I'm gonna need. And that was actually an experiment that went very well. I'll definitely be using it in other projects, that's for sure. So here I'm trying to fix all the places the clay cracked on me. And it's gonna take a few minutes. I have some clay left over from this repair job, and I figured I'd start with just doing the base of all the limbs of the tree and get that to set before I start doing the rest of them. But this leftover clay I'm going to turn into pumpkins. And unfortunately, on this day I had completely forgotten to turn on my computer in time, so my phone was dying, and yeah, it cut out during this live. It was very unfortunate. It was one of those days where things just don't really want to go your way. But I'm using a toothpick to shape the pumpkin here. It is very nice in my opinion. But it's hard to film actually because it's black. So, yeah. So jumping on to the next time I go live, yeah, Jana is just inspecting everything. And I'm going to take the camera down so I can, and this is going to be horrible filming, I'm sorry, but there's a cord and things to deal with. So I'm trying to show you how everything cracked again. Let's see, getting it into the light, which isn't easy. Yeah, you can see the crackling. It mostly held up here at the bottom, but there's even a piece that broke completely off. And the branches are still loose. So I'm very annoyed at this point. But I'm going to crack on because I can't just shift materials midway. I have to finish all the branches and then figure out what to do about this. So, but here are the pumpkins at least that I made while the camera was out. So they at least look nice. They are very crackly as well. I think it's because it was a leftover piece of clay and it had already dried out quite a bit before I started working with it. But yeah, back to bird's eye view, and I'll try to crack on. Just clearing out a bit here so I can take you on to a next part here where I do the coffee thing that I talked about earlier. I found a video on Pinterest that you could use coffee grind to make artificial gravel and or what's it called again? Grass. So here is my coffee grind. My boyfriend drinks a lot of coffee, so that was easy to get a hold of. You have to let it dry for some time, and here I'm just making sure it's loose powder form and parting it in 3 segments, because variety and color within a mass helps the realistic feel of it. So I'm going to make 3 different colors of grass, but I'm going to mix them when I pour them onto the lawn, so that there'll be a little bit of the gray green and a little bit of the more yellow green and so on and so forth. So that's the point. So, and you just use acrylics, stir it up really well, put it onto parchment paper and let it dry. I couldn't find my spoon, so I grabbed a fork in my... I actually have it for tying bows, and I completely forgot to clean it after. So there's still green paint in between the teeth of it. It's not very good. I thought this was too light, this green, so I put in some black to darken it a bit. This is all about preference, of course, but I wanted variety in my... it's over here. I'm just going to spread it out and let it dry. Depending on how much paint you put in, it dries quite fast. One of these is going to be quite dry actually, and there's one, I think it's this one, where I put in a lot of paint because I wanted really vibrant green, and I also put in some yellow to try and lighten it. And there are a few yellow streaks in there also because yeah, remember to hold on to your cup, because I didn't manage to get it all spread out. So here's the grayish green I have. I love this color. It's unfortunately not one I can buy anymore. It's one of those yeah, colors that come and go, you know. Right now it's pastels, and there was a point where it was more the grayish tones that was popular. Of course my local store always carries the primaries and things, but there are some... It's not even seasonal colors. It's really all about trendy colors. That's a good word for it. So here I wipe off the fork, but I can't get in, or don't have the time to get into every groove, so I forget all about it and it dries. So at some point I have to clean it right, so I don't get green plastic paint on my things. It'll wear off at some point, but if I'm working with white ribbon, that won't be a good thing. And you see this one is quite dry actually already. But just move it about, make sure it's without clumps. And let's move on to the next installment, second last of this series.